Madame Web had a disastrous opening weekend at the box office, and it achieved a feat that has happened to only 4 other Marvel movies. The first trailer for Madame Web was a warning to many that this film could be another dud in Sony's Spider-Man universe, and that was confirmed when the first reviews came out. The film currently holds a 13% critic score and a 56% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Those poor reviews scared people away from the theaters, and it led to the film having a terrible debut for its theatrical run. The Dakota Johnson-led film grossed $17.6 million in its opening weekend and $25.8 million total for its 6-day opening. It's a new low for Sony's Spider-Man universe, even earning less than Morbius, which made $39.1 million in its 3-day debut. Madame Web debuted in the number 2 spot at the box office with Bob Marley, One Love earning the top spot with $51 million in its first 6 days. A Marvel film missing the number 1 spot in its opening weekend is rare, and Madame Web now joins an exclusive club with 4 other films. Only 4 Marvel movies have failed to reach number 1 on their opening weekend since the start of the MCU. The Fantastic Four next to Dakota Johnson from Madame Web, custom image by Ross Tannenbaum. Sony wanted to avoid disaster with Madame Web, but that's exactly what the studio is getting. The superhero film is projected to join some of the biggest superhero flops of all time and is already a part of an exclusive club. Madame Web did not debut at number 1 at the box office its opening weekend, and that has only happened to 4 other Marvel films in the modern era of superhero movies, beginning with 2008's Iron Man. Those 4 movies are Elektra, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, 2015's Fantastic Four, and Dark Phoenix. Out of the 5 films on this list, Elektra made the lowest in its opening weekend, grossing $12.8 million and debuting at number 5, with Coach Carter hitting number 1. Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance debuted at number 3, losing out to Safe House. Dark Phoenix made the most in its opening weekend, grossing $32.8 million, but it still lost to The Secret Life of Pets 2. What's shared between these 5 movies are terrible reviews, as these films all have rotten critic scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Will Madame Web's box office improve after its opening weekend? The current outlook for Madame Web is bleak. The word of mouth is dreadful, and audiences don't have much trust in Sony's Spider-Man universe, consisting so far of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Morbius, in addition to Madame Web. The film was made for less than $100 million, and it needs to make around $200 million worldwide at the box office to make a profit. However, most films drop off after their debut weekend, and audiences aren't clamoring to go see this movie after reading and listening to all the poor reviews. Many of the critiques of this film include poor ADR, automated dialogue replacement, a lame villain, stiff acting, and a terrible script. Madame Web does come close to doing some things right, but the movie ultimately fails to overcome its flaws. Hopefully, the negative aura surrounding this film goes away before Kraven the Hunter later this year, because Sony desperately needs a win.